So we're coming up on the close of 2023 in the trucking and logistics world. From a basis of where we stand as an industry in terms of the quantities of carriers that are available, we have seen a decrease definitely from what we saw in 2022 and respectively what we saw in 2021. 2021, as we all know, was a record year for the number of carriers that came into the business and also the record year for the number of brokers that came into the business as well. Now, when we look at on a wide scale of closures and where we stand, on the carrier side, we have seen over 88,000 carriers shut down their operations. Now, does that mean they all just completely left the industry? Not necessarily. Some owner operators did take their truck and trailer and go lease onto a company or sign on with a company that is, larger in size. One could argue that could be a way or goal of the mega carriers to create a monopoly on the system and just to drive the little guy out, as that's always been the case in any kind of business, really. It's to create a monopoly, okay, especially in this capitalistic system that we live in, okay. From another perspective, if we look at, so 88,000 carriers went out of business in 2023 as of today. When we look on the brokerage side of things, we saw 8,000 brokers go out of business. Now, they did not jump ship. Most of them left the business for good. Now, is that a good thing, a bad thing? Depending on the broker. If the broker knew what they were doing, they were dealt a few bad cards and they didn't know how to recover from it, I do feel and sympathize and empathize with those people. But if the broker didn't know what they were doing, they don't really care, they were just bottoming out the rates, trying to take the lowest bid from the shippers, and then passing on the really low, cheap rates of the carriers, good riddance to those type of brokers, respectively, as well. If we look at it in 2023, we had about 240 carriers go out of business every single day. Okay. Unfortunately, for the numbers to go back to where they need to be, those numbers need to be around 440 carriers per day to go out of business in order for the rates to go back to somewhat sensical. Now, I'm not saying $2.05 or $2.20 or $2.60 is sensible with the amount of money that drivers and truckers need to give in order to keep their trucks afloat, in order for their trucks to go down the road. But in order realistically to see the rates come back down, we're going to need to see that number around 440 carriers on average every single day in 2024 shutter their operations. Because the population, like I've mentioned in previous videos, the population is not big enough to support the amount of carriers that are currently available for hire in the system. Okay. On the brokerage side of things, we saw about 21 brokers go out of business every single day. That number does need to be around 44 brokers every single day in order for the system to clean itself out and for the system to be able to operate properly and for the rates to be offered in a more sensical fashion. Now, I'm not saying 220, 240, 260 is sensical, but I'm saying it's much better than 90 cents a mile as an average or $1.20 a mile as an average. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you guys see an end to this? Do you guys see this, us coming out of this earlier? Like, I've seen reports out there a few weeks back that we're looking at about another 60 weeks in order to get back to normal. I'm looking at it probably about another 40 weeks to go in order for us to get back to some sense. That's a few months away, but I think we're on the right track from that perspective. It's just there's just too much flatlining in the rates and even cliff diving at some points in time, where it's very difficult to cooperate and participate in such a market, even for brokers and for carriers specifically, because of the amount of expenses that they have day in and day out. So like I said, guys, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get out of this back in, May, June of this upcoming year? Or are we really looking at 2025 as the stabilizing year where we're going to see rates back to where they need to be? Something's got to give, man. This is unbearable. This is really hard to participate in. So let me know. Let me know your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Again, today I'm a little bit under the weather, just with some swollen jaws and things like that. But God willingly, things will get better. So respect to all of you. Thank you for your support, and I appreciate it. And looking forward to conversing with you in the comments below. Cheers.